Silksong kicked everyone's ass, and there's a very good reason for that: difficulty. But is it really that hard? And did Team Cherry actually make a mistake in balancing? Grab some tea, subscribe to my channel, and hit that like button. Hey, Landrix on the mic, let's begin. While I was making this video, Team Cherry already released a new patch that actually reduced double damage from spikes and other places you can fall into. Let's start with the first problem. Enemies deal way too much damage. Some enemies in the starting areas can easily hit you for 2 masks, while in the original game that kind of damage was only dealt in the end game and by extremely hard bosses. In Silksong, however, Team Cherry decided to go further and made double damage possible right at the very beginning. And considering that Hornet starts with only 5 masks and you can heal only when your silk is full using Bend, this means you can literally get knocked back to a bench by a single hit from the weakest enemy. Okay, let's talk more about benches a little later. So with a huge amount of spike traps and flying enemies around, those 5 masks quickly turn into from 1 to 2, since some spikes used to deal 2 hits before the patch. At that point, you're no longer enjoying the fight. You're desperately looking for a safe spot to heal. And honestly, considering how phenomenal the combat, animations, and fighting feel are, it makes sense that you want to fight more, not hide in safe zones. The game simply becomes unstable, where a single mistake of full masks can send you back to the last bench. In short, we've got incredible combat that's caused by the inability to learn through mistakes. In the original Hollow Knight, after a certain stage of the game, Geo, the in-game currency, lost all value and just piled up in the Knight's inventory. Team Cherry tried to fix this issue in Silksong in a rather unusual way. Now you have to pay for practically everything. Need a bench? Pay up. Oh, here's a subscription bench. After 1 use, you'll need to pay for it again. What's that? Want to enter a tavern to see a vendor or unlock a notice board in a city? That'll cost you. And then again and again. At first, I didn't really pay attention to it, but the further I went into the game, the more I realized, looks like grinding rosaries is gonna be necessary. In my understanding, tying everything to rosary grinding has become the cornerstone of the in-game economy. If everything revolves around collecting rosaries, then what's the point of exploring the world or trying to find other rewards? If the only thing that truly matters is currency, it would make far more sense to introduce a barter system where the player could exchange items for abilities, tools, and so on. Yeah, this was pretty much expected, but I still have to mention side quests. Most of their structure boils down to grinding certain items, and that's a bit disappointing. I do understand that not every quest can be memorable or perfectly designed, but grind-based quests are the majority, and that can be a letdown for some people. I've put around 20 hours into the game and I'm slowly going through Act 2. But honestly, I haven't yet seen quests that were truly exciting to complete. They mostly feel like a basic to-do list that lets you farm rosaries and crafting items or whatever else. And basically, it's neither good or bad, it's just okay. And the biggest issue that, in my opinion, makes Silksong really difficult: benches. Yes, it's cool that they're in the game at all, but here's what a typical path from a bench to a boss looks like. I immediately get flashbacks to Dark Souls 1, where the run from a bonfire to a boss often took more time than the fight itself. Sure, that definitely adds difficulty, but is that difficulty actually interesting? Does this long run to the boss add challenge? Yes. Does it add fun? Hardly. At first, I even tried to find secret benches close to boss areas, but I quickly realized that apparently you're expected to run through that path every single time. Even Elden Ring, for the most part, solved this issue with checkpoints near bosses, but Silksong decided to take another route. So, can this really be considered a problem? Both yes and no. Regarding the original Hollow Knight, I heard many times that the game was too easy, and honestly, at certain points, it did feel a little too forgiving and didn't give me enough of a challenge. On the other hand, hyper-focusing on difficulty definitely makes it harder to enjoy the carefully crafted world of Team Cherry, which is truly magical and unique. But looking at the situation more broadly, Silksong gives us that very challenge we've been asking for, and all those loud complaints about boss fights and gameplay in general just made me want to say this. Yes, the game definitely has some rough edges and areas for improvement, but that doesn't make the gameplay bad, and it doesn't make the bosses unfair. To me, this is the challenge we've been waiting for, and a chance to enjoy the thrill of mastering and winning. And even with all the issues we talked about today, I wouldn't say any of them matter that much to me. Sure, it would be great if they fixed some of these things in the future, but even now I'm having an amazing time, and I recommend you do the same. So what do you think about that? Share your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to check out these awesome videos. That's it for me, and see you next time.